start in 10 minutes, 15 seconds. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you'll be able to listen to the show.
Hey out there. I didn't know I was gonna have to sit on here 10 minutes like this. I wasn't expecting this. But anyway, I'll be co-hosting tonight on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced.
9 minutes until showtime.
With Brother Parris, who is actually out of Denver, and he's running for mayor. So this is my first time having conversation with him on these terms. I've called into the show before and spoken with him previously. So first time. So I'm just on here because I'm going to record myself on YouTube and Facebook. So thanks for joining. I'm just sitting here waiting for the show to start. So the topic tonight is going to be Black August and political revolutionaries and where we go from here. There's a lot. There's a lot of discussion that we need to have. Um, and we got to be in unity when we do it. And people don't like to talk about unity and all of that, but it's something that we must do in order to be successful and where we go from here. Every movement previous to today, there's been some form of unity, of forming of people coming together on an idea and a concept that was to push an initiative forward for change. Okay. The only difference is that it's very little unity among groups that have different belief systems. So, yeah. So I don't want to talk about what I'm going to talk about until it's time to talk about what I'm going to talk about. So I'm just here. I've been doing a lot of research on the topic that I'll be discussing tonight. And so I'm not really like prepared, like I got a whole thing written out. No, I don't. This is coming like it's gonna come. Yeah, but it's a lot of information, and it's a lot of things that tie into one another. It's like piecing a puzzle together, and that's the most interesting part about it. We on the countdown. 6 minutes. It's been about a year since I've been on Blog Talk Radio, like for real, talking about.
I can hear another song.
Oh, that's me. I'm talking over here on my Facebook and YouTube. How you doing?
I sent you a message the other day on one of your videos.
You did?
I wanted to do a video. I did actually on YouTube.
Oh, I hadn't.
There's some static going on.
Okay, I hadn't seen it.
It's coming to seduction doll.
Okay. All right. I'll look for it.
5 minutes until showtime.
I didn't hear nothing.
On my podcast. Can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
This is gonna, I'm gonna go into another room. My phone didn't die, but I want to see if you want to do a female build on the revolutionary agenda. What? So I got a message about a week or so ago, maybe a week ago. It's on your YouTube, one of your YouTube shorts.
Oh,
On your
okay.
page.
Okay. I hadn't seen a notification for it. So I look for it. Yeah. But well, you're telling me now, so now I
Come under
know.
deduction doll.
Okay.
What's on what's the topic tonight? 4 minutes until showtime.
Uh basically, shit, why did my brain just go blank? Black August. Black August, political revolutionaries, and where we go from here. Like, this month is August, and so this was, how everything kicked off with the Black Panther Party and fighting back after the murders and things like that. So,
Just trying to get back into the studio. Yes, ma'am, that sounds like a good topic. Especially since we're in the mid-month. Try to get back into the studio. We may or not, we may or may not have technical difficulties. So bear with us because we're at a port 3 minutes until showtime. Wait, I'm gonna go to the restroom. No, not that next week.
I'm here. You're not coming through clear at all.
I'm gonna transfer this room, so you should be able to make it clear. It's still kind of breaking up. I'm in another room. 2 minutes until showtime. Okay. It's gonna be kind of choppy still, but I think we'll be able to make it work. As long as we can hear her better. She sounds clear. I called in. Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yes, I can. Okay. It's kind of echoing Jesse, but as long as we can hear her, then that's all that matters. We'll just keep pushing. 1 minute until showtime.
Jesse. His name is Jesse.
You know how to introduce us.
Who got to introduce who?
That's Jane Kuma.
What?
Us, your guest.
No,
you're opening the show. This your show.
I'm your guest. I thought I was co-hosting. Okay. See, I don't like when stuff change at the last minute. This your show.
Okay.
Because I don't even know you to introduce you. I just talked to your husband the first time just not too long ago.
Okay. Well, we got it. Don't worry. Just start any second now. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. Four, three, two, one. Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings. Okay. Is anyone there? Well, I'm Akshita Veda, the chosen daughter of the matriarch, bringing you agape love and wisdom through empowerment in the middle in the form of transformational life coaching. I represent PAIN, the Pan African Intelligence Network, and the matriarch. PAIN was organized and orchestrated by Mandela Khan Davis in the Bloodless Revolution, carrying the torch of Class Action 567. We are Team No Fear over here, and we got boots on the ground. So salute. How y'all doing? What's up? I am broadcasting right now from Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. I have two of the other parties on the line, Jesse and I'm not sure, I don't know her name. Nonetheless, we're here, and the subject and the topic today is Black August, being that we are in August, and this is a time and representation of our political revolutionaries, political prisoners who are in situations of
Can I be heard?
imprisonment.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, because I can hear you at all.
See, that's why I don't like doing stuff like this.
We welcome our guest tonight. Akshita, she's going to be speaking on this very serious topic. We do want to know where our mindset is. Are we done being slaves to the white man and going with everything they say is right and correct? Or are we going to take control and lead ourselves into this new revolution and where we can succeed as a family, as a Black family, or we can continue to shun each other? So we're going to open up the floor to our main guest. Go ahead, sister. The floor is yours, and we're here. So go ahead and open it up. Welcome.
Greetings again to the platform of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Shout out to Mad Dr. D for putting together a platform so that we can be here today to have this communication amongst ourselves and publicly to get and to gain awareness of where we are to go from here. I am Akshita Veda, the chosen daughter of the matriarch. I'm in representation of PAIN, the Pan African Intelligence Network. I'm bringing to you tonight agape love and wisdom through empowerment in the middle of transformational life coaching, in which I bring in the bloodless revolution of Class Action 567. Okay, so those things that you may not understand what I said, keep listening, pay attention, and you'll learn more as we go. But the topic tonight is Black August. And Black August is in representation of the political prisoners and revolutionaries who fought a good fight for our freedoms. A lot of things have changed from then to now. So as we move forward, we can still remember the fight that was already put into place by those who came before us and those who are still suffering imprisonment to this day, making the best of what they possibly can of their circumstances. And we seem to forget about where where they were and why they did the things that they did and how it was used against them. The Black Panther Party is has made a strong foothold in movements today as far as the melanated family coming together to protect the community, to build the community. So how do we resemble what they did in this current time to bring unity back into our communities? At this point in time, our communities are not in our local sectors anymore because we've mixed and mingled, because it's no longer about what we look like. It's about our class and our status and where we stand. So, where are we standing? And who are we standing with? And do we understand why we're standing with them or why we should continue to stand with them? So it's not about the name, it's not about the titles of organizations and groups. Hang with who you want to hang with. You know what I'm saying? Party with who you want to party with. Praise with you who you want to praise with. But when it comes down to it, when we get beyond all of our differences based on religiosity, indoctrination, miseducation, we're all human, which we continue to depend on. So, thank y'all for having me on and allowing me to speak tonight on the platform. Did y'all want to chime in? First, tell us who you are. I can't hear anything.
Can't hear you, baby. I'll go for him for a second until he figures it out. Forgive us, Black family, we're having technical difficulties in the studio. I'm Lady J, also known as Seduction Doll. I have a platform called the Revolutionary Agenda, and I cover a lot of new Black media stuff. In depth, I take a couple of topics and I just kind of explore them more. And also have a podcast called People's Education Committee that I do with another brother named Brother Yanga, a revolutionary teacher. I do the People's Education Committee to teach young revolutionary minds theology, where things come from, what we should be listening to, what we should be looking at, and where things come from. I've been really sick lately, so I've kind of been behind schedule. Also, I'm a regular contributor here at Shabaka Black Experience Enhanced and co-host of Frontline Black News. So we offer a podcast on Saturdays at 10 p.m. via YouTube and Facebook. And we're so excited that the sister is here today. Yes, I really, you offered a lot right there. And that's a lot of new information that the young minds don't get a chance to really hear. And even as an old mind, 42, I am enthused. So I would really like to hear more because it's a good build.
Okay.
A good build.
All right. So,
okay, here I
am. Okay, hey. Yes.
Hey, yeah. So, yes. I was trying to say who I was. Yes. So my name is Shane Kruma. I am the co-host of Shabaka Black Experience Enhanced. I'm also running for mayor of Denver, Colorado for the 2023 mayoral election, and I am so this topic is very close to heart. My name actually is two revolutionary names, Che Guerrero and Kwame Nkrumah. So I have a lot to offer on this topic. I've been contributing and co-hosting with Shabaka for the past 5 years. And I have two other platforms. Lady Shay mentioned one of them. The other one is Frontline Black News. And we have the Revolutionary Agenda as well. So we've been doing that for over a year now, and we've been getting the message out to our people, that we are demanding something tangible for our vote. The days are over of us just voting just to be voting. We're going to demand something different for us. And when I say us, I'm talking about the foundational Black Americans, the American descendants of slavery or descendants of American slaves, the people that built this country, the people that were the first stock and bonds that were sold on Wall Street that were the foundation of this country's uh, infrastructure and economic power. So that is who I am.
Well, thank you both for continuing your work on this platform and being open to my presence tonight. So,
You're definitely welcome.
thank you.
We encourage to have you, sister.
Thank you. I had run across in the midst of my research throughout coming into this information because the Black Panther Party kind of came into play as like the resort of like we've had enough and we need to protect our own. And I came into Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and what he was establishing was the Organization of Africa Unity. So it's been a global movement. Even with the Garvey movement, it was a global movement. And so we have to get back into that global mind frame. Yes, we need to establish things locally within our communities, on some of the same principles that were established through the Black Panther Party. But the crazy thing about it is the Black Panther Party has been demonized and looked at as like any association with anything. Even the Black Liberation Army was all demonized as if it was something like of terrorism, but we don't look at the police officers like terrorists, but if they're acting in that manner, that's what it is. But in all, the Black Panther Party was established to create a sense of safety and security in the communities. And so as I started thinking about it, I was like, you know what? If we look at Maslow's hierarchy and the basic needs, our basic of all needs is oxygen, water, food, clothing, and shelter. And once we have that, we have a sense of safety, which is protection, security, order, law, boundaries, and stability. And that's what the Black Panther Party brought to the community, was the protection and the safety and security of all people, but women and children. And so once they were demonized and taken, as if, so I started looking into a well-regulated militia as well, because that's pretty much what the Black Panther Party was, a well-regulated militia. And based on the Second Amendment rights, a well-regulated, uniformed militia could carry weapons, armed and be armed for protection purposes. But what they did was with the COINTELPRO was begin to make those things illegal for certain groups of people. And this is how everything kind of kicked off with Black August and, fighting back and being pinned with murders that they didn't commit and things of that nature. So I just want to give honor to all those members who have been imprisoned because of your fight to see that there was a need for change and to be demonized for that. We have to give honor to them, and we can't forget about them, and how we work towards prison reform, and that's how Angela Davis came into my alignment as far as my research and wanting to know more about her. I've been interested in Angela Davis for years, but I couldn't figure out like what was so significant about her and Ashada Shakur. And the crazy thing about it is, although they both started in the Black Panther Party, they both left the Black Panther Party because of the lack of mutability. Like the Black Panther Party is like, we're not, you know, organizing with any other groups of people, you know, not being open to unity and in a lot of different ways. So that kind of takes me into, you know, what I speak for, and it's kind of along the same lines as those two women. You know, I believe that we should be uniting across the spectrum of color, beyond the spectrum of race, because at some point those things were created. So we hold on to the lie when we hold on to the creation of the lie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the lie that you're talking about is based on white supremacy.
Right. So there's nothing superior unless there's inferiority. So unless we have an inferior mind, then nothing can be superior. So we have to change how we think. And so
Are you saying that to unite with the other races?
I'm saying
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that we have one issue, and that's a government system that has been set up for our demise, and it has nothing to do with what we look like. We have we have all been at some point in the long line of history of wars and civilizations and things like that, as a people have been enslaved and at war with one another. It's just a matter of who gets the spoils after the war and who gets to tell the story, who's in control of the narrative. So if they win a fight and they tell the story after the fact, then they're only telling their side of the story. And the people who have been subjected to that narrative are just going along with it because there's some type of pacification attached to it to some degree. That pacification.
Okay, so I'm gonna put
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna push back a little bit because the Black Panthers were actually pretty open to other groups, such as Asian groups, such as Native groups, such as even white groups. When we became open, let me give y'all some context. So I'm a Panther Cub. My revolutionary father was the founder of the Denver chapter, and my grandmother was a member of the New York chapter. So I was instilled with being a Black Panther before I even knew what it was, and doing that work before I even knew what it was. And the Black Panthers didn't start being dismantled, dissected until they started reaching out to these other groups. These same groups that you're saying that we should reach out to and unite with. These groups were used as intel and informants to infiltrate our movement and bring them down. So we have to be cognizant of that if we're even going to attempt to bring these other groups into what we got going on. What we're saying is, no, we need to build our own stuff up. Later for these other groups can literally hold their own because we have been caping for them for too long, and it's not been reciprocal. Now, if it had been reciprocal, I could make sense of it, but it has not been reciprocal. And even with this Pan Africanism, that hasn't been reciprocal either, because we've been fighting, meaning we Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, been fighting for liberation for a long time, for like at least 500 years, and fighting against this beast, this lie, this social construct, as you would say, of racism, white supremacy, and it has not been reciprocated by these other groups. These other groups have literally gotten in bed with the enemy and are now being used against us. It's called upper classes. They've been put in place to keep us from going at our open enemy. So we have to be very cognizant of that. We're trying to unite all races and colors and creeds and all that. We got to start at home.
Right.
We're divided amongst ourselves.
You're right.
So until we can get that tradition together that we have amongst ourselves, it makes no logical sense for us to reach out to other groups. We don't even have our own house in order.
Well, you make a very good point there as far as having our own home in order, because we all live the way we live in our homes, and no one can dictate how we live inside of our homes. But when we go out and we participate in public events, we have a certain courtesy for other people, because we know that other people are there and they live differently in their households. So it's kind of the same idea and perspective of dealing with your own household and allowing people to live how they live in their household. But when you come into public, there's a certain courtesy that is expected, because we all are of our own. So I'm not saying you got to write out the plan and put it in the hands of all those who proclaim to be in alliance. Not that at all. What I'm saying is we have the right to abolish this government that's no longer working for us and institute a new government. That government of people is not all going to look the same, because there are so many people being affected by this government that is no longer working towards our liberty and pursuit of happiness. So that's what I'm talking about. So the objective is freedom, justice, and total independence for all people, and if we don't ever see past our differences, how do you get from the point of argument and debate to open communication and respect one's opinion, to agree to disagree?
How do you get to that point? I mean, I think that we've been negotiating for a long time. It's been falling on deaf ears.
There's no negotiation, and we're not trying to force anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. This is a movement of the collective whole of the willing. You must be willing to participate in the movement of going forward for freedom, justice, and total independence for all people. Once we have that, then you go on off about your business and you maintain your sector. So my thing is I represent the matriarch, and the matriarch is the mothers, grandmothers, and great grandmothers. It's the village that it takes to raise a child. So when we acknowledge and get back to our right mind as mothers in raising our children, when men get back to being in a position of protection, and this is overall, I'm not pointing the finger or picking at anyone in particular or anything like that, but as a whole, there's a lot of healing that needs to take place in our minds, body, and soul, based on the extremes of devastation and trauma that we have faced as a people, especially the melanated people of the world. Not just localized, but people of the world. So, all I'm saying is that there could be a new way of operation if we just operate, if we get organized, if we unify, and so people's minds get stopped because of their own mindset, because of your own belief system. Your mind can't fathom unity. Like, how do you expect me to join with them after all they did? They didn't do anything. And throughout history, colonizers took slaves upon the land that was stolen and written into law to be something legal to do. It's a lot going on that goes way beyond this earthly experience that we're having. So we have to understand ourselves on all levels. So I know I'm going a bit off right now, but the point of the matter is that we've had a lot of movements. We've had a lot of people who have done who have fought a great fight for civil rights, but who's fighting for human rights? We have human rights were before civil rights.
Civil rights actually, yeah, but civil rights, there's nobody civil in this country. Civil rights was initially for human rights, rights of black people, because we were the only people that were dehumanized. Yes, other groups, other cultures throughout history have had slavery, have had wars, but we were specifically dehumanized. We were labeled chattel, less than human. So our slavery experience is different from everybody else's. You don't have the same kind of, you don't have the same experience as these other groups.
Okay, so
it's hard to unite with somebody that didn't go through a similar experience as you.
Well, here's the deal.
I'm not saying it's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's definitely a work in progress.
But look,
and what we're saying is, like, we got to take care of ourselves first. We're too busy trying to help everybody else. We neglect ourselves in the process.
Okay, so how about this? What's the definition of black?
The definition?
Yeah, what is
adjective?
It is an adjective. It describes something. So if it's this, what is it describing as a black people, as a black person? What is it describing?
A melanated person.
It doesn't.
So-called person of color.
That's
when they called us black. They called us black because of our skin color.
But I'm not black. We're not actually the color black, though, are we?
That's not our nationality.
What is our nationality then as a black people? So what is our nationality as a black people?
I said, some people would say Moors. Other people would say Hebrew Israelites.
So then, where do those people unite and come together?
Under the banner of the red, black, and green.
Okay, and what does that mean?
The red is for the blood, the black is for the race, and the green is for the land.
Right.
We all have one common.
But the Moors don't fly a red, black, and green flag, though. The Hebrew Israelites don't fly a red, black, and green flag.
They should.
They can, but they don't. So that's the rally point And that's the thing that unifies all of us. Why are we not all carrying a red, black, and green flag?
Because a lot of us haven't been taught it. A lot of people don't even know about the red, black, and green flag.
So then,
a lot of the people that look like us don't even know. They don't even know about Garvey. They don't know about any other movement.
So why are we not?
We're dealing with the indoctrination system.
So that's what I'm saying.
We're not focusing on ourselves.
Okay.
On us, educate us on what we need to be doing or what we need to be focused on and on what needs to be our center point.
Okay. So you made some very good points because speaking about the indoctrination system being the miseducation system, we're speaking in terms of we want freedom and we want all these different things, but we keep sending our children to indoctrination camps. That doesn't make sense to me. Once I realized that I had the power to withdraw my daughters from the public school system, I did it immediately. I've been homeschooling for over 5 years now. It hasn't been easy. It's been difficult because I was doing it when it wasn't cool. So I learned that I had the power to change. And I made the change that was necessary to be in a different position and to put myself in a different category, status, and class. And they have to treat you different. They can't treat you like you're 3/5 of a human, like you're not, like you're nothing, like you're just a simple adjective. So I actually, in the process of taking my children out of school, I put them back in and I listed them in their ethnicity as white. Because based on the description, based on the description of white, people who have originated from North American continent, the sub-Saharan part of Africa, and Europe. So the Moors did come from the European area. The Nigretians, or those that traveled, the navigators of our historical time, traveled from the sub-Saharan before the transatlantic slave trade even took place. We were already traveling across the world, navigating, creating civilizations all over the world. And an ancient artifact will prove that. The point of the matter is that
there's no dispute there. The dispute comes in is why are you having your children claim white when the definition of black is the absence of or complete absorption of light.
What is that as an ethnicity? What does that make you belong to? If everybody in the world can hold up their flag and say what their nationality is, what is black person's nationality?
And we can hold up our flag. We have our own flag. We have our own flag. We have our own FBA flag.
I just learned about that flag.
That's what we can hold up.
The flag that looks like the American flag, but it's red, black, and green.
No, not that one. No, this one has a black fist on it, and it has 13 leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red stripes and 3 stars.
I've never seen that flag.
Yeah, we have our own flag. So when you talk about ethnicity, Black Americans are our own ethnicity. And we have our own flag to prove it.
But who all knows about this? Because I just learned this tonight.
I mean, now we're in the information age. The people I tune into, which is the new black media, they know about it. The people that tune into the new black media know about it. Anybody that listens to either Tariq Nasheed, the Black Authority, Professor Black Truth, Dickie Dillard, um, um, Phil of the Advice Show. We have our own shows, Frontline Black News, the Revolutionary Agenda. We had Mile High News before that. I mean, it's a whole list of YouTube content creators that we tune into on a weekly basis that know about this, and they have thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers. So it's several million people, I would say, at least, that know about it.
Well, that's interesting because I'm new to the game. Apparently, I know about the red, black, and green, and the Moorish flag.
If you go to official SBA,
where does that flag fly at though? You know when you go into a city, into a state, any state you go into, you're gonna see that state's flag and the American flag. Where do they fly this flag you talking about? Like, is there an embassy? Is there a government building of some sort where, or is it like, it's grassroots, but where is it widely supported? Like, if people wanted to find out about, this black nation that with this flag, and I'm being very serious here, how would they link up with anyone who is seeking that type of unity or organization, or looking to find out what this black nation is all about? Because I'm 42 years old and I don't know anything about a black nation.
Well, you're living in it. We built this country. So it's just as much ours as it is anybody else's.
We could stake claim.
There was no United States. This was complete wilderness before we built it into what it is today.
No, it wasn't.
But I can go over the flag.
No, I can't agree with that.
For the most part, this country.
Let me explain why.
What was here?
Let me explain why I don't agree with that. I was a part of a group called Mental Magic, and the instructor of that group, or the creator of that particular group and organization, is Frank Burrell, and he's out of St. Louis, Missouri. He went to the Missouri Museum, and he did a live video, and it was showing all types of historical artifacts. And there's in particular a map in that museum that shows how the country was set up, and everything that's overseas now, like Japan, China, Morocco, all those different places were actually over here. And all those different nations were actually set up over here. They went and were reestablished over there. That's why if you look at the establishment dates of most of the countries in Africa, it's sometime after or around the proclamation, emancipation, and therefore afterward. There were no countries set up in Africa. That's why that's why America is so very diverse, and everybody's trying to get over here. But they want to make black people so on and so called. They want to make black people go to Africa.
What I mean about black people in the Americas, it's the black Aboriginal people of North America, the black explorers and traders who had contact with the Americans before Columbus. and the captives that were brought to the Western Hemisphere from Africa. That's what I mean by when I say FBA.
I get it.
And with the fifth represents, it represents a nonstop fight that foundational Black Americans have engaged in against white supremacy. This battle began on this land in 1526. So this even predates the Jamestown, 1619. And the branches on that represent the historic camaraderie and peace between Black skinned Aboriginals and Black natives on this land. Now we know through our studies of Dr. Ben, of Dr. John Henry Clark, of Chancellor Williams, that only 6% of the Africans that were transported from during the transatlantic slave trade ended up in what is now the United States of America. So that means there were already dark-skinned Black people already here.
Exactly. I never said anything about against that. Melanated, brown skin, dark skin people exist across the globe.
Right, we're the majority.
We are.
We're not the minority.
You're absolutely correct. What's the name of that flag? I want to look it up.
Official FBA. Just go to officialfba.com.
Like Small Business Administration?
Official FBA.com.
FBA. Yeah, I don't listen to many podcasts or blog talk. Uh, honestly, because most of it is a lot of regurgitated information, and the crazy thing about it is, we do a lot of talking, but we're not doing a lot of act. There, I don't see a lot of action happening. So I don't see the point in listening to 15 people talk about the same thing, and we're still in the same situation and circumstance as a people, not changing anything because we don't want to change ourselves.
Right, well, it all starts with self.
Right.
You can't change the world until you yourself.
Absolutely.
You can't motivate anybody else unless you motivate yourself.
That's right. And see, people got to be willing to sit down and learn or listen, quiet the mind, learn how to meditate. Just be quiet. Just be quiet for a moment. You can't hear nothing because you're too loud in your own head. And it creates an argument or something that is debatable. And another thing that I notice when I do try to cross over onto different platforms and communicate, a lot of times it's a lot of men present on the panel, and they don't like women. Like, they like women, but they hate women. Like, they don't want a woman to have a brain. They don't want her to think, to have an opinion. They want to control her, and that those are misogynistic behaviors and patterns. So a lot of times I see dealing with people in these organizations and movements, they're pretty much kind of stuck on a mindset of control. especially of the woman. Then they want one thing, but then they disrespect you for being that. Then I don't know. This doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I don't understand. They're very disrespectful men, and I've been disrespected several times. I pretty much say, I'll take one for the team, just so you can see what you're dealing with. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, a lot of it is undercover, and we don't know. And so a lot of times, women are seeking guidance and direction and protection from these men in these groups, and they end up becoming abused with nobody to cry out to, because everybody, they got thousands of listeners, and them listeners will beat you up online for saying anything against them. So it's, I just try to stay away from all of that, because I'm one that they want to beat up all the time.
No, we can't hear you, Lady K. Yeah, I mean,
Lady J.
Lady K, can you hear us? It kicked you out. Guess you got kicked out.
Come back in.
Yeah. No, we still can't hear you.
And that's another thing that need to happen. The women got to get together. But you know what I noticed? A lot of times, women be afraid to say they are a daughter of the matriarch. That's what I represent.
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay. We can hear you now, Lady K.
Okay, before it kicks me out, I can speak to some of this. First of all, I guess when I jump off platforms and I'm speaking whatever I'm talking about, and there's some men on there, whatever it's usually that I find that I'm the one that knows more than they do, you know. And I just like to. I'm kind of aggressive. I'm a kind of an aggressive, assertive type of woman, and it's just how in my life normally. And I kind of just don't let nobody talk to me crazy. I just let them know. Right. And that's just me, because I don't really care, like about how many views I get or who sees my shit or who doesn't. I'm just speaking whatever I'm speaking, because at that moment I felt compelled. Right. Or if I get invited. Sometimes if I get invited to things, I have to watch myself, because I don't have this all-inclusive discussion. I just have strictly black discussion. And sometimes I find myself being rude, and then I might apologize depending on what happened. But, on these panels where there's a lot of men, unless I'm going there, unless I'm there with Shay, or unless I have specific reasons to jump in, I try to fill out the waters. Now, the people that are in the chat, who cares, man? Here's what they say. If they're not in alignment with what you're talking about, then they're going to be in alignment with what the host is talking about. And that's where you have your own stuff, where you can create a following of your own for yourself. Right. And you can't necessarily rely on the fact that they're going to be good to you and even welcoming, in the sense of just minded the things that you're describing or you're talking about.
That's why I stay off their platform.
Some men are really I have a lot of machismo, or whatever that's called, misogynistic, and they're very sensational. That's what's going right now is new Panther movement. So it's a lot of sensationalism, and I'm not with it. I'm not for that. I like to stay away from that type of shit, because that's the kind of shit that gets you wound up and caught up in everything but your goals. And I want to stay on goals, on my goals at least. I do agree with you as far as taking your children out and putting them in, homeschooling them. I have 42 as well, and I had a daughter at one point in time in my life, and when she was going to school, some little boy stabbed her in the face. I didn't like how that went down. I tried to talk to the school. They weren't hearing what I had to say. So I took her out and I was homeschooling her. I'm not the smartest crayon in the box. So I knew that I was going to have a limitation up until what grade I was able to teach her. And then I felt like, well, I was always trying to tutor. Luckily, my life didn't turn out the way I wanted it, and she ended up going somewhere else. But I agree thoroughly that public school is the gateway to all things bad. If you really look at it, it's a gateway to them back talking, it's a gateway there to them using drugs, early pregnancy, oddness, changing their genders. There's a whole bunch of weird shit going on in public school, and it just comes home and gets weirder at home with some of these people. I do have a question, and this so we could understand. When you change everybody to their paperwork, is that for the sex test? And that's in that case, that's adding to the white population. And the reason I say that is because, it's hard enough being melanated, right? That's the thing when we're trying to fit into the world of them. You know what I mean? White supremacy. White people in general, they got the money, they got everything. What the reasons are. I know for a fact that it doesn't really get us anywhere. Because I had changed my name once to, I had married a white man long ago. Thought it was going to benefit me. I changed my name. All it did was make things worse because I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get the help I needed because I was a product of the system. A whole bunch of ugly things that happened to me. And it never really benefited me. Are you seeing a benefit to this change that you have conducted amongst yourself and your family? Because if people see a change a bit, they're more open-minded to understanding. Because this is like something we haven't heard before, and really would like some more information on it.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand your question, but if you're asking me, how do I feel the change in homeschooling has been in my family, and how do I feel about that change?
From black to white.
Oh.
And changing everyone from black to white.
Oh, I just did that to prove that it could be done. 2 weeks later, I took my daughters back out of school. I didn't want them to stay because then they were being targeted by the teachers and still treated as a problem rather than treated as a equal in the classroom. And so I recognized that immediately. I only did it to prove that it could be done. Because if you want to, because really that category in filling out the paperwork goes to the state as far as documenting for status and numbers and things. And so it goes towards the funding of the school and things of that nature. So it has nothing to do with your livelihood and how you live differently. It's only a matter of when they're looking at a piece of paper and an X or a mark on a piece of paper without seeing you physically, you're already judged a certain way without being seen. It's a number.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not anything to do with what you look like. So say for instance, you go and you fill out an application, and on the basis of your application, you mark that you're ethnically white, and they choose you, and then they see that you're brown skin, and then they treat you differently. You understand that they only picked you because your paperwork said white, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So when things are not based on you standing in front of someone and they're only looking at it from the perspective of categorizing how they need to see things in order to do it or not do it, or how they're going to proceed in doing it. And if that check mark puts you in a different pile or a different stack, then your case is going to be treated in accordance with that pile or that stack based on that mark, not what you look like. That makes sense, because see, people always say I get discriminated against because I'm black. Yeah, because you said you're black. Black people get treated a certain way. So you marked that you were black, you marked that you agreed to be treated the way they treat black people, even though there's no such thing as a black person. I can look at something black. My mouse is black on my for my computer. No one is that color black. No one on this planet is that color black.
So with that being said, what should we be calling ourselves?
Humans. Why do we have to? Why do we have to be? Why do we have to be in a category? When was race created?
In the 1600s.
1724 with the that wasn't exactly when it was created, but what that was the Black Christian codes.
Yeah, the black codes.
Right. So the black codes taught what the black Christian codes taught people how to discriminate based on what the facial features were, color of the skin, texture of the hair, height, weight. Look at all these things to put people in a category. And this is what it means if they look like this. This is how you treat them if they look like this. So this was an idea and a concept and a perspective that children of pale skin were groomed to understand. And in their treatment of people that they categorized in these manners were reciprocant of this behavior. So then they were indoctrinated by the actions of others and how to conform rather than to be transformed.
Right, and it's an ideology as well.
Right.
It all started with an idea that these genetically tested people were superior to the genetically dominant people on the planet.
So how do you change that? Because I'm not treated differently because my skin is brown. People don't treat me differently.
Well, how you change that if you do away with the system altogether and replace it with a system of justice, which guarantees that nobody is mistreated by the color of their skin, and those that need the most of stuff to help get it.
What if
we're working toward?
What if every brown person or melanated person took their children out of the school system and began to homeschool? How radical would that be? And how would they have to treat you? How would they have to treat you differently? Because if you're not in their school system, can they really tell you how to manage your home?
No.
They lose authority inside of your home when you take your children out of their school system. But as long as your child remains in their school system, I'm sorry?
And they try to criminalize it. In certain states, they try to criminalize it.
Well,
you take your kids out of school, there's fines and penalties
no, because I've done it. I've enrolled and I have withdrawn my daughters out of 2 different schools in the state of Alabama and they are exempt from immunizations. And I've taken that exemption from Alabama to California to Texas to Baltimore and to Arizona. Not forced to
I know
do.
here in Colorado, thank you.
I'm not forced to do anything.
No, you're not. You're not. You can choose to not vaccinate. You can choose to not put your child in homeschool. You'll have to just do some yearly testing so that they make sure that they're on point.
What standard? What?
And things like that. So you can,
that's not true.
They have programs where you can homeschool your child.
That's not true. That's not 100% true statement. Neither one of my children have to be tested by the system because they're not a part of the system. How are you going to test my child on your standards and I'm not teaching them on your standards? As long as they're being taught, the five crucial subjects in a curriculum is all is required.
Yeah, but we're in a state that you didn't name that.
In your state, they have to do that?
I'm in
Colorado.
Okay, so in the state of Colorado, you have to do a test.
So let me finish. Let me finish what I was saying real quick before I took my kid out of school, okay? I myself didn't have a full education. I took my kid out of school because I didn't like her getting abused and whatnot. And what I did was I looked online and I found a K through 12 homeschooling program. They sent me all the materials I need, the grade she was in, and a computer for her to work on. And I had to work on with people online on the same study level as the other kids, just she was at home. Testing, if she was able to at the end of the year. And the next grade, they sent me the material for the next grade. There's programs like that. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
In order for your children to move forward.
Well, the thing is, let's not be confused here. K-12 is an extension of the public school system in your state. Or you can choose private education and pay for the education. And the public school sector can't dictate that as long as they're enrolled and actively engaged.
My programming was free.
Mine isn't. I pay.
What would you suggest to the parents that have education? Say, for example, me, myself, and I have a 5th grade education on paper. I take my school.
Okay. Well, you can limit yourself to a 5th grade education if you want to, but as long as you can read and you can research and find any information to elevate your own mind and thinking, then you can move beyond the system of telling you that 5th grade is as high as an education that you've reached, because apparently you've gone further than that.
Yes, I'm sorry. But what I'm saying is that I didn't have a formal education enough to lead my child to 3rd or 4th grade. You know what I mean? I had to have some sort of basis to lead her on to be able to teach her along with the study tools that they were sent. I mean, we could teach her all the Black education we want, but she's still going to need to learn mathematics, social studies, science, things that I didn't have no understanding of.
Okay.
One thing I know how to read and write proficiently is another thing I didn't know math. And I need to help myself in order to have my child succeed further than I was able to. Now she's going to college, but she didn't get that from me. I would have rather seen her study alongside at home. It just didn't work out that way. But there's parents out here that are listening to this that they would say, okay, what do we do if we don't have the formal education, but we want our children to be at home instead of, surrounded by all that learning that they're getting in the school system, because the school system really is about money,
Okay.
and if they don't care about the children, think about they care about your children. So what would you say to parents
Well, the
not
only
only
thing,
educating themselves but keeping their child on point?
I can say is I use time for learning for my oldest daughter, and my youngest daughter, I create her curriculum based on her understanding because she does have a learning disability. I have had to learn how to teach her using different methods and concepts of learning, um, understanding that we are sensory people. So our senses must be engaged. Some people learn through listening, some people learn through visual, some people learn through writing, some people learn through these things simultaneously. Um, and so it's a matter of really just understanding uh, how to teach different learners. And so I've had to do that in my own household with my own daughters. I was very organic. There was not much that I like resources that I could use or go to except for different learning material on YouTube that I was filtering through to make sure it was actually good for consumption um, by my child or children. But Time for Learning is pretty much an independent learning program that is a private paid program that I do pay for my daughter to use. And she does what she's supposed to do. Um, she stays in accordance to what she needs to do to get through the year. So and it's an all year round program. Like she can take breaks when she want to. She can do it at whatever time she wants to, as long as it gets done. We don't have a strict schedule. We are free and living our best lives, doing it our way. And we've been doing this for 5 years, 5.5 years now. And the crazy part about it is, through a great part of that, we were traveling across the country, dealing with homelessness, living in shelters and things like that. So it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been something that I would push on anybody unless you were really able to do it. So I do get it and I do understand it, which that's the part that made me want to push even harder to get to a point to understanding how to teach children who learn differently, because I started noticing as we were traveling, we were meeting a lot of children that were like very similar to my youngest daughter and how she learned. And so I was able to talk to different mothers and show them. A lot of people have to be shown. Now, you can't just tell people, "Oh, you do this and this is how you do that," or whatever. You have to show people how to do it. You have to be an example of what this looks like. And so, if you had any type of access to me during this process of homeschooling, then you know I can go hard when it comes to buying school materials, and every moment is a moment to learn. Every opportunity is an opportunity to teach. So I never took any time for granted, nor did I ever try to pressure a certain restrictive type of schedule. We had to lose time. We had to forget everything. We had to completely deprogram our minds from everything and then build back up from that. And that wasn't really that easy to do when you got people coming at you, trying to make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. You get what I'm saying? Because there are certain things that you have to be aware of when homeschooling as far as what the state requires. So you got to know the laws of your state with homeschooling and what's all required for you to do it. But it's possible. I mean, anything is possible. You just got to want it bad enough or be in a position to, you know, get to that point. Here on Facebook, yes, you did take them out. I remember when you started homeschooling. Yeah, so you've been knowing me all that time, Asia. This one sister over here on my Facebook page is a really great supporter of the movement. She watches a lot that I do, and she supports a lot that I have going on. So I appreciate her for being on here, Asia
Yeah.
Woods.
Shout out to the sister. So, in the state of Colorado, it says all students in Colorado must attend school, public, private, or homeschool between the ages of 6 and 16 for 172 days per year. Classes must include reading, writing, speaking, math, history, literature, science, civics, and U.S. Constitution. Beyond these basic requirements, however, parents can choose among three options for how they wish to homeschool their children. The first way is the one that you described, which is the umbrella school. Your child can be enrolled in a private or religious school, also called an umbrella school, and still be taught at home. The school itself must keep some records, but families homeschooling under this option are exempt from requirements, including involving school district notifications, attendance, testing, and evaluation. The other two are traditional home-based programs and certified teachers. So yeah, it's doable. Got to meet the basic requirements.
Right. But it can be done. Yeah. And so I just it can be uncomfortable because of course it's unless you have something that's thriving at home already as far as work and bringing in some form of income, that's a major issue when it comes to homeschooling, and I get that, so but yeah, so
Shout out to you for doing that. Shout out to you for doing that.
thank
It takes
you.
a lot to do that. That is definitely an example for any parents that might be watching later or currently to homeschool their children to get them out these public indoctrination centers.
Yeah. And then how we use this social media networking system. We could literally reach across the globe at the same time in whatever time zone you're in if you click on. And this could be used, you know what I'm saying, to get children together or to get mothers working together. But nobody wants to commit to change. Nobody wants to, they're too busy about wondering about how they look. They're too busy because, maybe their house not clean, or, you know what I'm saying, all kind of different things that people will, allow to stop them from moving forward and doing something different, because to change anything is uncomfortable.
Yeah, change is uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. Like, I haven't been feeling like doing much. I'll be transparent at this point. I didn't feel like doing much of anything for the past few days, but I could not fathom coming on here to speak to anyone about anything, and my house ain't clean. So I had to get up and do what I need. I had clothes I had washed and didn't fold and put away. That got done today. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through, get up and get the house ready. Then I had to get up and cook dinner because I wanted my daughters to be fed and out the way so they wouldn't be an interruption during this live feed. So you hadn't seen them come out here say mommy one time because I made sure they had everything they needed before I sat down to do this. Made sure the house was clean before I sat down to do this. And I ain't feel like doing any of it. I done took about 3 naps today. Okay.
Okay.
I done took about 3 naps and got up to do what I needed to do to make myself presentable to come on here to have this conversation tonight. Um, I don't feel like uh, anybody should be speaking if you ain't got your house in order. Just like going back to where we started with this conversation, having your house in order, and that's your body, your temple, as well as your home. So even through all of this stuff that's going on, uh, I'm I don't know. I've I've been diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm currently in my 8th week of chemotherapy, and I'm dealing with a lot of different changes happening. But I'm still living my life. I'm still living like there's nothing that I'm gonna allow to knock me down. Now, if I get tired, I'm tired. I lay down, I rest. If I got energy, I get up and do what I need to do. But I'm not making any excuses nonetheless. I still have to be present. I still have to be a mother. I still have to do the work that I do. Nothing stops because you get what I'm saying. Cancer. You know what I'm saying? What's cancer? So it's a matter of how I treat myself and what I'm doing to battle it internally, so that I can be present in the now. And so I advocate for a lot of different things because I'm doing the work. And I don't talk about it. I just do it. So,
and that's a testament. That's a testament to how persistent and resilient we are as a people. We don't talk about it, we do it.
Right.
Like Nike, we just do it. Despite everything that's going on, I mean, my lady's just been diagnosed with cancer, and we're dealing with that, and we're still hosting the program. And we're still getting the word out to our people to liberate the minds of our people.
Right. Wow.
I'm trying to get her back in, but for some reason, Blog Talk's not letting her call back in. So we're down to the last 30 minutes of this program.
Okay. So, how do you want to transition from here?
And you left us with a lot to think about, sister. So I think this is a good stop. We can give our closing statements, and then we'll just close out the show.
Okay.
Thank you, Sister Akshita, our guest tonight. Give us your closing statements, and then I'll close us out.
Okay. All right. Again, I am Akshita Veda. I am the chosen daughter of the matriarch, and I am in representation of PAIN, PAIN, the Pan African Intelligence Network, which was orchestrated and organized by the late and great one and only chosen son of the matriarch, Mandela Khan Davis, my partner in time. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come on and to share openly on the topic of Black August, which briefly, like I said, I didn't want to stay stuck there because so much has happened and so much has changed. So I think that we should be more actively engaged in those process and just being of support to say, hey, we know you're there. We haven't forgotten about you. And, we're still out here doing things in a positive manner to make a change for what we see needs to be changed. And prison reform is one of those things. Talking about the political revolutionaries, and we didn't really too much get into the women, but I believe Lady J wants to do a build on for women, and so maybe me and Lady J can get into the topic of the women in the movement. Huh?
Yeah, Lady. You keep saying Lady J, but it's Lady K.
Lady K. I'm sorry. We're gonna get it together. My apologies, Lady K. So yeah, maybe we can set up some time and do a build on the women of the movement because they had such intricate roles in the community development and things of that nature. So I have some music and different things that I do produce that I share on YouTube, and that is Matriarch LLC on YouTube, and also on my Facebook is where I hang out a lot of times and post a little different things from time to time. Nonetheless, I'm all about change. I'm all about moving forward. I'm all about the rise of the matriarch and understanding that the movements can't go anywhere without the women. So the sooner that's realized and the sooner that's acknowledged and respected, I believe we can go so much further together. And sometimes the unity that I speak of is just between the men and the women to get out of the hate and to come into love so we can move forward and make a difference. So thank you and have a good night.
You're welcome. Thank you. I concur with everything that you said. This is all this Black family. We have some of the most revolutionary events take place in August. So we're definitely paying homage to all the revolutionaries that came before us and that will come after us. We can't let us just fight. We have to change the system. The system has to go. It has to go, and the only way it's going to go, Black family, is by us coming together as one, or as one of my friends would say, come together like booty cheeks and form Voltron and do away with the system. Because we are all that we got, Black family. And ain't nobody going to come save us but us. So yes, the Black man, woman, and child, the Black family has to be restored. There has to be trust put back in place between the Black man and the Black woman. There has to be love put back in place between the Black man and the Black woman. Thanks. And for that child, for their offspring, that has to be present. It all starts with self, Black family. So we can chop our heads off all day, every day, but if we're not doing what we need to be doing with ourselves and at home, then it's just all talk at the end of the day. Akshita so eloquently put it, you gotta act. We have to act. Actions speak louder than words. So that's what we do here on Shabaka Black Experience Enhanced. That's what we do on Frontline Black News. That's what we do on the Revolutionary Agenda. So check out all of our platforms. Like and subscribe to this specific YouTube channel. She already plugged it, but yes, like and subscribe to her channel. I've already subscribed to it. And check us out next week. We'll definitely be doing a part 2 of Black August, political revolutionaries on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. In the meantime, make sure you check out our Twitter page, Shabaka ESP on Twitter. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, both the page and the group. And like and subscribe to the Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook, and the Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube. So, peace, love, light, and Black empowerment. We're gonna go out with Black. Thank you, Sister Akshita, for being our guest tonight. We will definitely have you on for future episodes.
Thank you.
And the air date of this program was August 16th, 2022. This episode for those that were 18 years of age or older. With peace, love, light, and Black empowerment, we're going to go out with Black.
Sound about right. No, that sound about right. You never said it.
You did.
Yeah. Everybody want to be an athlete. Everybody want to rap on. Everybody want to eat watermelon and fried chicken. Start using pancakes. Everybody want to hit after me. Shabaka after me. Got you women up for liquor. I'm trying to match with dick. Maybe it's black. Don't subtweet Abby. 3,000 in the backseat. Classroom with the gladly. 5 mil drugs in the attic. Finally got a pot of competition. Working overtime with the television. I don't want to find no divine suspicion. I be getting high niggas to black things. Back shots to Schnocky. I be on new shit, so they copy the debauchery. Go ahead and watch me.